The first step toward becoming an assertive person, that is, toward building assertiveness into your people skills repertoire, is a matter of recognizing what kind of person you are right now. Recognize where changes are needed and believe in your right to make those changes. For example, are you a person who often feels that you're being taken advantage of? Ask yourself if this is really an accurate picture of what's happening in your life. If you decide that it is accurate, what needs to change? Chances are you're someone who has difficulty saying no, even when no is exactly what's called for. It may be useful to start writing down situations in which you've confronted this issue. To actually keep a diary of the times you've said no, including how you felt when you said it. If you do this for a period of time, you'll see how your inhibitions will diminish as you really begin to confront them. Or maybe you're on the other end of the spectrum. Can you cite instances in which you've been very outspoken? Have any of these crossed the line into aggressive behavior? Be honest with yourself about this. And if the answer is yes, ask yourself if this is really helping you or hurting you. Is aggressiveness something you really want to build into your personality? Or is it just a substitute for the more adult response that assertiveness represents? Once again, try keeping a log of situations in which you felt yourself becoming aggressive. Track your progress in gaining control over those feelings. As you do this, be aware that positive change isn't going to happen by itself. You may feel some anxiety or even real fear about becoming an assertive person. Write about this in your diary. Is there someone you can talk with about the changes you're trying to make? Speak with that person about the specific situations and feelings that concern you. The truth is, as children, we're bombarded with rules. Don't be selfish. Don't insist on being first. Don't make mistakes. Don't be emotional. Don't be unreasonable. Don't interrupt, and many more. Most of these rules are very valuable and well-intentioned, but if they were downloaded into your consciousness with too much force, you may have magnified them beyond their original purpose. What's more, despite the good reasons for many of these rules, every one of them can legitimately be broken under certain conditions. For example, you have a right to be first, at least sometimes. You're allowed to make mistakes, as long as you intend to learn from them. You have a right to say you don't have enough time for something, if in fact you really don't have enough time. Earlier, we mentioned the distinction between childish and adult behavior. Most feelings of submissiveness or aggressiveness have their roots in early life. It's time to identify those origins and to realize that you've outgrown them. As this process of recognition takes place, also be aware of the harm that's done when you back away from appropriately assertive behavior. When you act aggressively, for example, you're likely to incur feelings of guilt that can become very burdensome over time. When you allow people or circumstances to dominate your legitimate needs, a loss of self-respect takes place. At first, you may think that not trying to assert yourself is a choice, but eventually it can translate into a belief that you really don't have any power.